Guys, welcome to the channel and thanks so much for popping by for another installment of Extreme Weather, How to Protect Your Body. And we're talking about feet today, as you can tell. I put feet right up there in terms of importance next to hands because your feet have everything to do with how much work you can do, how fast you can do the work, how long you can do the work. It has everything to do with even how well you can concentrate on the task at hand. So it's really worth investing in your hands, in your feet, and your head, so to speak, when it comes to protective gear. Now these are bogs, and they are my absolute favorite boot, which actually surprised me when I bought them. I could see some uses, but I have been surprised at what I can do with these guys. The bottom is a very sturdy rubber, which means that it's good in sleet, in rain, but it's also really good in snow. The top part of the boot is, I think it's like a neoprene. It's that stuff that the divers wear. So it's super, super comfortable, but it keeps the rain out and it keeps your feet warm. But your body doesn't get overheated. There's only been a couple of times when my feet have actually sweated in these, and that's because I was standing inside for way too long somewhere that was a really warm place. So I have found these helpful at like 10 degrees Celsius, and I'm sorry, I can't remember what that is in Fahrenheit. And I've worn these down to minus 30, minus 35 Celsius, which is very cold in Fahrenheit. So these are really all-purpose boots. And another thing I love about these boots is that they're incredibly lightweight. And initially, if you're just going like from your car to somewhere a few feet, it doesn't really make much of a difference. But we're getting prepared for extreme situations. Like if you were stranded somewhere, you might be hoofing it on your feet. So over time, having lighter boots means that your body needs to use less energy to lift your feet. And if you're in snow, it will feel like heaven having light boots because snow gives you that resistance and it can be really tough. It can be a great workout walking in snow. Okay, so these are my, as I said, my absolute favorite. And I've had these now 3 years. I wear them all the time. They wear really, really well. They're not the prettiest boot, but I'm old enough that I don't care. Okay, let me try showing you guys another one. Now these are the boots that I have in my car at all times as emergency boots. These are designed for really cold weather, and they also have that rubber bottom so that when you're walking in slush that it doesn't get inside to your feet. Your feet need to stay dry. If your feet are dry, if they're warm, and if your feet aren't too squished in your boot, because being too squished can give you frostbite, and it can actually give you all kinds of blisters, which are horrible. You don't want to start having wounds on your feet. So you want to be able to kind of, move your toes around. And I think it was Todd who suggested that who made that comment for gloves as well, which was great. That was a really good point. These don't have a lot of wear because they're for emergencies, but I rest easy knowing that they're always there in the back of my car if I need them, because sometimes weather can really surprise you. Like today, for example, it was 11 degrees Celsius, and where I live, oh my gosh, I felt like I was in Florida, just bonkers. Okay, here's some other boots. Now I have these in the trunk of my car as well, because these guys, fantastic for super, super cold weather, not so good for really warm weather. These guys are great for around 0 because they've got that beautiful, nice rubber on the bottom, keeps your feet dry, and they look warm, but they're really not. So having a couple different pairs of boots in your trunk is great, again, to have for emergencies. Because if I ever had to leave my house for some reason, I'm good to go for all seasons, right? At least one pair of something. Now these guys, these guys I use fairly often. They're really nice when you're going in and out of some place. So if you're doing stuff in the yard and you're just going out for a few minutes, you want to pop back in, because your foot can just slip right in. Okay, and that's nice. But it has the low cuff, which means if the snow's deep, that's no good. And Todd, for sure, I know he said this, that what you don't want is you don't want to get snow into your mittens. Same thing for your boots, because it's incredibly uncomfortable, and it's a really easy way, it's a really easy way to get really, really miserable fast. So as I said, these are great for in and out, not good for deep snow, and they're not good at all for rain, for slush, around zero melting temperature, because look, they're suede, so they're not good. Now, suede as well, it's not the best material because it really does wear more easily. So for any of your boots, you always want to be spraying them with a protective coating. These guys are so much suede that they're quite vulnerable. There's a bit of a rubber tip, which is nice, and you can see at the back there's lots of rubber on the back, but there's a fair bit of the boot that's suede, and so these boots will wear out faster than, say, these guys. And when you're looking at your boots, you can see that these guys are going to take a little while to get laced up, but they've got nice height. And if you look on the bottom, oh, what a gorgeous tread. Okay guys, I want you to be thinking about like your tires, right? You look at tread on your tires. You're wanting to have the same thing. Oh look, dog fur, what a surprise. Shock, shock, shock. You want to be looking for that as well on your boots. Now, if I go over here, you look in the bottom, okay, oops, there's a fair bit of tread left, but I'm starting to wear the tread here, and on the back it's really worn. So I have to be careful this winter if I'm going on icy, slidey surfaces. And here is a pair of the boots that I kind of grew up with. Not the same boots, but the whole style. These are what we used to call snowmobile boots. And you can see already some of the problems. Take a look. The metal, it's rusting out. Yeesh. And yeah, it does have a good bottom, that's true. It is nice and tall, and it does have something though that's fabulous. The very top, there's a toggle feature. And what that does is it pulls it snug so that you can't get snow into your boot. So that is a lovely thing. But these things, oh my word, heavy, heavy, heavy. They're like cement. So not a good emergency boot in my opinion. So there may be times though you're with either these guys or you're with the bogs, and you're absolutely going to be stepping in snow that's deeper than this, because this is not, this isn't up to your thigh. So the trick is when you're in those kind of conditions, if you don't have a boot that toggles up around snugly against your leg, is you want to have some kind of a outer pant that has Velcro on the bottom that you can tighten, or that has togs, so that you then get that really tight seal. And that will work really great as well. Okay, hold on a second. I just want to show you guys one more thing. Something else that you need to watch for in extreme weather is icy conditions when you're walking, because getting an injury, like a broken leg, is brutal. And this is an example of a cleat. These things are great. The rubber is fairly elastic, so it fits basically the size of your boot. It stretches around. Oops. And I like the back. There's not too much metal, okay? But you always have to remember these are an aid. You can't pretend like now you're not even walking on ice. It's always good to do the penguin walk. The downside is that these guys really do wear out. So here you go, classic wear. If you wear them a lot, you may only be able to get a season out of them. If you only use them in emergencies, then you may have them for years and years, depending on where you live. Now these guys, I don't recommend these guys, because when you're wearing these and you step on a smooth surface, you skate, like you really go. And it's, I don't know about you guys, maybe it'll be easier for some of you guys who are younger, but at my age, sometimes I forget. And I remember when I'm sliding across the surface and landing on my posterior and entertaining people. So yeah, just be careful of these guys. Okay guys, thank you very much for popping by. So much looking forward to your comments. And oh, I almost forgot. Logica made a really good point. He was telling us about you can now buy wool winter clothing so that you can be stealth and you won't be heard, which is great for all kinds of reasons. And wool is amazing because even when it's wet, it stays warm. So yeah, that's a lovely option. And I'll put a link to the video that he showed from a Russian YouTuber. Okay, I think I'm really done now. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.